Hello YouTube, this is William. I've got the Slick 2 and the Master Companion, and I'm going to show you how you can do a waterproof little kit in the handle if you're going to do a paracord wrap on these knives. These knives are going to be out, and I'll say it again in the video here in a little bit. Probably within the next week, you'll be able to pre-order the first runs for the Slick 2 and the Master Companion. Okay, so I thought maybe I would show you how to do how I do. I mean, it's not the only way to do it. To do a little survival kit or fishing kit, sewing kit, fire kit, whatever you need for your area and your situation, in the handle. So you have some paracord there, or bank line in this case, whatever cordage that you prefer, and a little fishing kit or sewing kit or fire kit or whatever you want as an emergency in the handle. That's water resistant or waterproof. Okay, so here's how I did it. Okay, what you're going to need is you're going to need a straw. And this is just a plastic straw that you can buy at the store or get it at a fast food place or whatever. The stuff that you want to put in the straw, and you're going to need some sort of skeleton knife that has a space in the handle, such as this Master Companion and Slick 2. These two are going to be released for sale probably within the next week. There will be an option that comes at some point for aftermarket scales, and I've about got the scales about 90% of what I want, and how we can provide those to you like so. And with some Chicago screws, it has a slotted end so that you can remove them if you wanted, or change them out, change colors, get different scales, whatever you wanted to do, or go back to a skeleton knife. So anyway, items you want to put in the tube, and you need some sort of pliers. You need to make sure that they're tight all the way across, okay? And you'll be able to see why here in a minute. Some sort of lighter. What you want to do is you want to measure your straw, the length of your opening. And one thing I want to caution you on is, if you use these scales, then trying to get that to press down inside that cavity for those scales depends on how full you fill this thing, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. You can take these scales and hollow them out if you wanted to. The problem is they're only 1/8 inch, so you can't hollow out very much, or the scales, you lose the integrity of the scales. They'll be too thin. So what you want to do is squeeze the straw on one end, leave about 1/8 inch or so, and you want it to be kind of square. There's all kinds of videos on how to do this on YouTube. So, and you just melt the end, just run the lighter across, and you'll be able to see how shiny it is, and you'll see when it seals up, okay? And remove your deal. And if you want to make sure that it's watertight, just blow on it. And if no air escapes, then it's watertight. Okay, then the next thing you want to do is you want to figure out what you want in here. So let's just say that we want a little bit of fishing / sewing thread in there. So we kind of stuff that in there. And remember, this is not an everyday use. This is an emergency kit, okay? So we're going to stuff that in there, put that ferro rod in there, stuff it down. We're going to need a needle. So there's a needle, put a needle in there. You got to be careful with a needle because you don't want it to puncture your tube, because you want to keep it watertight. Just kind of push it down in there tight. And maybe you want to put a fish hook in there. Just put a fish hook. Just take something and just kind of squeeze it down in there. Here's a little fly. I think these flies are just phenomenal. These little flies that you get at Walmart or wherever, because a lot of times if you need to fish, you can't always find bait. I mean, it may be winter and there's not many insects or worms available. So little flies like that, I think is a great to put into emergency kits or survival kits. I can get it in there. I can't get my fingers to work this morning. It's one of those times you gotta take a little bit of time off and let your hands and body recover. Okay, and maybe you just want a little piece of jute twine in there to kind of help you with a fire starter. Problem is we got to close this up so we can't fill it up too much, but we might be able to stuff something in there. I don't know. We'll see. We're just going to stuff it full. Yeah, that's not going to work. I think we got too much in there. All right, so we're going to have to deal with that. We're going to have to get some tinder off the lamp. That's all right. Perhaps we can do that. In your area, you may want different items in your kit. So just make your kit to whatever fits your area. Then once again, you want to make sure that this is the same. This angle and this angle is the same. So you don't want it kind of cockeyed in the kit. Like so. And you seal that up. Let it cool. And you'll be able to tell, I mean, if you can press it and it still feels like a bubble, that means it's sealed. You can also kind of squeeze it and see. All right, and that should fit right inside that little cavity right there. Like so. You got to make it a little shorter because them wings right there. Make that work. So when you cut your straw, you want to make sure it's a little shorter. All right. So you take, I'm guessing, I think about probably with this size, probably about 6 to 6.5 feet of bank line. I think this is number 36 tar bank line. So you get about, let's do about 6.5 feet. And that's sort of what I did with this one. It's just that it's not in this little watertight package. It has those little fire tabs in there, a little ferro rod, a safety pin I just stuck in there because you never know. And there's a needle right there in case I need to do some sewing. And of course, with using paracord, you got several strands of finer line in there. And you could stuff a fish hook or whatever you wanted to in there. It's just that that's not watertight. It's not a watertight kit. So this is another option of doing a watertight kit for this. And it's just ideas, okay? And then all you want to do is you just want to do a whip stitch. And I'll start here, and I'm sure that there's many other ways to do this, but this is how I do it, okay? So we start with a whip stitch, and we'll place that in the middle. And it's kind of difficult to do, or not difficult, but it's it's just a little fiddly to get it started. You want to run your cord through there because you don't want it to slide off. What that does is keep this part from sliding off the end. And come around. Got this tag in. You want to make sure this tag in is long enough to make a little loop. We want to make this little loop right here. Okay. And you may want to put some cardboard or something over this edge here if you're concerned about getting cut, because you can cut yourself doing this if you're not careful. All right. Then go around and then come back up through. Then you can start your rotation. Hands. At a certain age, folks, it's hard to hold on to stuff. And just start wrapping real tight. Just like so. And then once you get a few wraps in there, then we put that little kit back in there. Probably hold it, I think, at that point. Let's see if we got enough in there to hold it. You want your loop about right there where that other pin hole is. And just start wrapping. Make sure you stay tight. Keep your line like that. You don't want it to fall over. Okay, and make sure you leave enough so that you can go back through this loop so you can pull it through. Then you take this end and you pull it, this part back up underneath the handle, like so. Then you can take that part. And all it is just a whip stitch. And you wrap this around and just tie a knot in the end of it. And however you want the tag line, however long you want it to be, you just want to make sure that you leave enough sticking out there so it gives you enough room for your loop. Like so. And see, we pull that back through after we did all that. And now you have a handle that has a survival kit in it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and got some good ideas. Again, you know, do a close-up. These will be stone washed, and acid etched. And they'll just be pre-ordered as skeletonized first runs. And more than likely, they'll be on my website. But anyway, if you're interested in pre-ordering these, probably fabrication time is going to be about 6 to 8 months is what I anticipate. So anyway, and then at some point, these aftermarket scales and a sheath option will be offered after the sale. That way you don't have to pay for everything up front. That gives you time to recuperate and save a few more bucks. And so anyway, since it's going to be aftermarket, then you can order it before you get the knife or whatever. So anyway, that's the plans, that's the goals, that's the idea. So stay with this channel. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Give it plenty of thumbs ups. And I appreciate all your support. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much for allowing me to live my dream. And until the next one, you guys get in the backyard, whittle on a stick. Be sure and take a child with you. You get the opportunity. And don't forget those plenty of Band-Aids and lots of knives. We'll catch you again very soon. Bye.